Have you seen the movie Princess Mononoke? The main character comes from the Emishi tribe, the last of their people. The movie didn't just make up the Emishi, they actually existed, and they were much bigger than some tribe. Hey guys, stick around until the end for a contest to win one of these charm keychain things. If you haven't seen the movie Princess Mononoke, then you must be punished, fool. The punishment is, you must write, "I love this video," in the comments right now. Then go watch Princess Mononoke. What, you think I'm kidding? Do I sound like I'm kidding? So in ancient times, we had the Yamato people, and they started forming and growing their state that would later turn into the Japan that we all know and love and are baffled by. But always lurking to the north were these people they called Ebisu, or hairy men. Before the Heian period, the Japanese court never controlled all of the Japanese archipelago. Northeastern Honshu were the home of the Emishi. In the Nara period, the court did eventually add 2 new provinces covering this region, Dewa and Mutsu, putting it under their control. But, like my love life, that control only existed theoretically, because the Emishi did not accept Japanese government rule, and they brought this non-acceptance to the government's attention with loads of arrows. Alright, this is the first video in a series about the Emishi and how the Japanese government subjugated them. So who the heck were these people? Well, around 300 BC, there was a big migration of people from the Korean peninsula into the Japanese archipelago. We call them the Yayoi. I said Yayoi, bunch of pervs. The Yayoi kicked ass at not dying, so they gradually displaced or interbred with many of the native Jomon peoples already living there. Sometime later, the Yamato Japanese arose, and they were of Yayoi origin mostly. But there's a debate about the Emishi. We know these hairy people were culturally different from the Yamato, but were they also genetically different? And how did they grow that much facial hair? As an Asian, I must know, so I stopped looking like a 10-year-old boy. There are researchers on both sides of the debate. Genetics is messy, and with interbreeding, the differences between ethnic groups get really fuzzy. That's why racists are afraid to get DNA tests. But I can summarize what the evidence of the past few decades is pointing towards. To simplify, the Yayoi people did spread north, but the further you go into northeastern Honshu, the less Yayoi DNA you see. So the Yamato grew out of a population that had strong Yayoi influence, and the Emishi came from a population that has strong Jomon influence. But anyways, that's genetics and where they came from. I'm much more interested in their culture and relationship with the Yamato. Very early on, the Yamato Japanese called these northeastern peoples Ebisu, meaning hairy men. They saw these razor-lacking people as very alien, almost like spirits that lived far away from society. But around the 600s, they started using the word Emishi, or Ezo, meaning quail barbarians or shrimp barbarians. I'm not sure why. Were they really short? That's kind of rude. At the time, the Japanese were trying to build a society with a central government. The Japanese court saw the Emishi as barbarians that they could bring into the state, bring them under the court's control. The court used the name Emishi to refer to anyone outside of its control, so there were even Yayoi populations who didn't want to submit to imperial rule. The courts also called them Emishi. Kind of like how the Seven Kingdoms call people north of the wall wildlings, as if they're one people, when they're really many separate groups. Over time, Japan would gradually assimilate these people, forcing the Emishi to move further and further north. The courts thought that some really weird shit went down in Emishi society. They thought the Emishi drank blood, and thought family members slept together without shame, even fathers and daughters, which seems horrific to our modern standards. I mean, who drinks blood? They said the Emishi had no leaders, everyone was greedy and robbed each other. Even brothers couldn't trust each other. So you can see the Japanese didn't think highly of these uncivilized people, because you never see brothers scheming against brothers in the Japanese courts. Never. But what was the truth? Were they really that primitive? Well, most of the time the answer to that question in any context is no. The Emishi weren't that far behind the traditional Japanese, maybe 100 years or so. We found Emishi burial mounds like the ones the early Japanese built. And they weren't one united people. They were a bunch of different tribes. Some raided Japanese settlements, but some became allies of the Japanese. The Japanese lumped them together under the word Emishi, but the numerous Emishi tribes probably did not see themselves that way. They were all distinct, separate tribes. And they were actually pretty hairy. There's a record of a Japanese envoy visiting the Tang Chinese, bringing with him an Emishi man and woman. Chinese documents called them hairy men or hairy people. The Tang emperor was thrilled. He thought, these are such weird-looking people, especially his magnificent beard. And the Emishi man thought, it's amazing that this 10-year-old boy became emperor. The Japanese had a farming-based society, the Emishi less so. They did do rice farming, but less of it. Hunting and fishing were still crucial. The Emishi had metalworking, though less advanced than the Japanese, and they fought mainly with horse archer, which was very annoying for the Japanese who invaded them later. These invasions forced the Emishi to move north, even into Hokkaido, where they encountered the Ainu, who still exist today. Now, if you don't know about the Ainu, I got 2 words for you. Pet bears. They had them. That should tighten your pants. So what was the relationship between the Emishi and Ainu? Did the Emishi move into Hokkaido, becoming the Ainu? Or did the Ainu come from elsewhere and already existed by the time the Emishi migrated to Hokkaido? There's a debate about this too, but DNA evidence suggests that the Ainu already existed and were a mix of Jomon and Okhotsk people from north of Hokkaido. When the Emishi migrated, they also intermixed and became assimilated into Ainu culture. So the DNA of today's Ainu also has a big Emishi component. The Japanese launched a series of wars to subjugate the Emishi and bring all of Honshu under imperial control. These wars were a walk in the park for the Japanese courts, a park full of lions. You'll see in the next few episodes. Alright, you gelflings, let's try something new today. You, watching right now, have a chance to win one of these nifty charms. All you gotta do is answer this question in the comments. In the Hogang Rebellion, which faction was Taira no Kiyomori in? After 24 hours, I will randomly choose a person who answered correctly as the winner, and that person can choose one of these charms. Good luck. I want to thank the new patron this week, Dragon Enslaver. Where were you when King's Landing needed you? Okay, also thanks to Tercero for doing much of the research for this video. Much love, you guys, and spread the knowledge.